So it's got an auto turning box. So sorry about this. So if you've got someone who regularly gets their partners up during the night to reposition them, which they can, if you use the auto turning function, they will get a night's sleep now as well, because the bed is automatically doing that gentle repositioning. Okay, its maximum weight is 80 stone, and we used the widest bed I think we've done between us was 6 foot, wasn't it? 6 foot, the widest bed? Yes. 6 foot. And this was for a lady that we had, I'll give you that case study in a minute. So 6'6" and lengthwise. Has battery backup, anti-entrapment sensors, and it has 6 wheels. But Andy will go through all that with you. So I'll go back to the Arctic bed now, because the Arctic bed is very, very much useful and very good for patients that have got motor neuro, musculoskeletal, spinal injury, MS patients, brain injury, muscular dystrophy, cerebral palsy. Now, Andy was explaining to me about the cerebral palsy. If you can get the sides up, it will keep that patient in a nice aligned position, so you won't then have to add in sleep systems. So you can actually use the bed to that benefit as well. Pediatrics, we have lots of pediatric patients that have specialist beds, and of course our plus size. So we had a patient who was 60 stone. She was at end of life, and she was very, very difficult to manage. Her pannus was huge. She had her legs in diameter were 32 inches each in diameter, and she had her legs splayed. At one stage, we had 14 members of staff repositioning this individual in bed. And the only way they could do that in the acute sector was to employ agency staff. So the agency staff came in 4 times a day and worked with the ward staff. She was a lovely lady. She was lovely. I've known her for donkey's years, and she had just got, it was the lymphedema that was putting on the weight. She just retained the fluid, and she just got bigger and bigger by the day, to be honest. So we got a tungsten, and it made such a difference to her quality of life. And I think it was a learning lesson for us all, in that Centrobed have redesigned the tungsten to actually understand how it worked with this lady. And on top of that, they have worked with an acute hospital who are now putting, I spoke to them yesterday, and it's gone through their evaluation process, and they're having 2 tungstens within their wards, 2 sites of their hospitals, because Centrobed have listened to them and designed the bed to what they need. So there are these benefits, okay? We're going to have the demonstration. Am I on time? Yes. Right, what I would say to you, lots of opportunity for questions. I think if we could get closer as a group, you could ask questions as we go along, or we can come back together. But at the moment, I have a sore throat. So shall we get close so you can and come round here?
Yeah, the Tungsten Elite is the latest bed that we're doing. Basically, it gives you a bed that goes up to 80 stone patient weight. Yeah. If you see on the picture there, this is the original Tungsten. It's got 2 motors on the backrest, 2 motors on the knee brake. It's got 2 motors on each side just to roll you over. So what it enables it to do is to, even if you're 67 stone or 65 stone, it will just gently roll you over. Other sizes are available. We've got one tucked over there, which is just 42 inches, which is more of a standard one. Okay, can you hear me all right? Right, I'll keep shouting. Yeah. The size of the bed is a standard 6'6", yeah, in length, but obviously today it's 54 inches wide. There are a 48, a 42 and a 36, so there's all different versions. But this one is basic. When you press the button to go up, it's got the lift capacity of somewhere between. Yeah, all right, keep going. It has the lift capacity of 140 stone maximum, so 80 stone patient is not struggling with. Yep. And if you press the this button over here, the bed will start to rise. As you can see, it's a 4-motored system, so that it's all taking the strain. It will wait for each other, and you will hear the one motor going up, and they're all balancing out amongst them. Okay, so that's its lift capacity. Then you've got backrest. You've got the 2 motors in there. Now we'll be looking for a volunteer. Oh, there she is. I better bring it down for her. Right, the bed's coming down. You can jump on if you want. No, don't worry. Yep, you can get in. Yep. Cool. In you go. Right. There you go. Obviously, this bed's a little bit too big for you. I'll get that in first. Right, just going to give you a gentle roll over. It is important that you get the right bed for the right person. So you'll probably have a 36 or a 42 max. Yeah. For other people, it will be different sizes. We always look at the shoulder width. You can operate everything at the same time. So I could drop your shoulder down now. Yeah. And roll you over. That's maxed out at 50 degrees. There's an auto box that does turning at night. If you don't want to operate it yourself, you can have the auto box and yeah, the auto box is on the other side of the bed. You press one button, it's half an hour. Another button, it's 1 hourly movements. The last one, 2 hourly movements. That will continue on all through the night, turning the patient. There are about 130 programs altogether, so there's plenty to choose to go around. I remember we had lots of looking at different programs for your man, but in the end it succeeded. Yeah. The standard program will turn you to the left, take you flat, and then turn you to the right-hand side. With the Arctics and the Tungsten Elite, you have a knee brake for each leg, which comes in quite useful, because what it means, it will bring your thigh around with it. If you're to offset yourself to the other side of the bed, that's it, get right the way over. Yeah. By doing that, what it does, it gives you a bigger turn. So I'm just going to put a little bit of knee brake in, and this one's going to flatten. Okay, so imagine this is a smaller bed. You're turning towards me now, so here we go. And you can see we're gradually coming over up to about 50 degrees. And you're going to be virtually on your side now. Because we've offset, we get much bigger turn. The bed can only do 50 degrees, but it's effectively, we're cheating. If you go offset, you can get a little bit more for somebody who wants to. It's quite a comfy position. You can also bring up the opposite side to stop you rolling across the bed. It's got battery backup on it, so should you have a power cut during the course of the day or night, the bed will continue to work, and it is important that it's got that. I'm going to ask any questions from anyone? No? No, you can operate it off one remote. It's just this particular one, because it's a Tungsten Elite, it's got a separate system for the high-low. But the standard one, which is over there in the corner, that has, you can operate off 2 handsets or 1 handset, it doesn't really matter. But most of what we do is those ones that size, 3 foot, 3'6", for mostly everybody. But when you get somebody that is plus size, then you need these bigger beds just to give you an easier roll and a bit of safety. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Pinch it off me, aren't you?
Yeah. Right, I'm just going to say, because I've got a sore throat now, is that if your individual has a large tummy, okay, what we don't
Over here,
want
probably.
is that position where the person tummy falls flat on the bed. By raising this side, you've got this position here, so the tummy will come over gently rather than doing this. Okay, so that is another, yeah. Otherwise you would have to put pillows or supports under here to stop you, otherwise you'll split the tummy. The tummy will actually split by the weight. So it's something just to be aware of here is that you can actually then, and also for personal care, if you can put the tummy here, you could actually, using sliding sheets, slide it, and you'll get into doing the personal care without having to lift the pants. Okay, so it's just different ways of using that in the personal care aspect.
Oh, thank you.
So I had to interject.
That's all right. Thank you for that, Anita. Yes, it's one of the things we have. Can you still hear me all right? Yeah. Yeah, that takes me right back to when we were doing the first beds. We had our first sort of bariatric patient. I think she was about 40 stone, and she had a 4 foot, slightly less than this one. And it was that movement of the panis from one side to the other. It was sort of a finely judged thing. And that, you're quite right, when they had the holding of the panis over on this side, she could then actually lower it down herself, so that he didn't rush. She could control that, and that was really nice for her. Other things we've done in the past, we've made these beds longer. If you have a tall patient, maybe 6'5", or as we had, 8'3", then you can make the bed for them. So we can do the backrest so that they have a longer backrest, so they're not shuffling down the bed. But also on the other end, if it's somebody long-legged, we can do a pull-out or something for that. So these things have all been covered in the past. You've got your battery backup for when you have your power cut. You've got 2 separate systems on this bed. That's why you've got 2 completely different remotes. But you can have little things like handset on one side, handset on the other for carers. It's a long way to go around to the other side to get it. So little things like that we can do. If you look under the bed, you see the wheels are all tucked up. They're not on the floor at all. So all that gives us is tremendous stability. If you would be a 50 stone person sitting on the edge of the bed, it's not going to tip over. It's going to be fine. And often you'll notice with the curve of the bed, you can see different parts of it. So you've got your actuators, you've got your backrest, everything is underneath there. It's all compacted in underneath. And most of these go into the community, and often they go into hospital first and then home with the patient. We hire them as well. So just want to know anything else about that. Sorry? They vary. I think from about 6.5 up to about 14, depending what bed you get. But you can hire them if it's a short-term thing. So that makes it more affordable. Mostly they go out into the community, don't they? But need to back to sort of people like you've been speaking. Hang on.
What we're doing is we try them in the hospital first, in the acute sector first, and then if it works in the acute centre, then the bed will go home with the patient. So that's what we do. So we do a lot of trials, and the acute sector are actually quite au fait with that. The infection control nurses and everybody will say yes, that's right. And we've got one going into the acute sector in a couple of weeks where we're going to try it with the patient there. Because to go back, these beds are expensive, so you must trial first. If you don't trial first and it all goes pear-shaped, you're right then have to justify why you spent that much money. So do take the opportunity for the trials. And also, you can put dynamic mattresses on these.
Yeah, we're looking at the hybrids to go on as well. There's all sorts of different ones. We have a 70 stone mattress available for us at the moment, and an air system. But we're looking at some hybrid ones for the smaller beds as well.
Okay, any questions? Anybody like to have a go on this? I mean, until you try it, you don't know. Any more? How have you found it? Okay, so any other questions, either regarding the bed or some of
You've got the hand of it now, haven't you? Yeah. I saw that. I haven't seen Kay, but I saw she was here. Yeah. Right, you're fully trained now, aren't you? Yes.
Anti-entrapment.
Oh yes. Part of the new upgrade on this bed was to put the control box into a state where it could measure pressure against the person that's in the bed. So it has some limitations, and what it will do, we'll set it when the bed goes in for the amount of weight the person is, and if it exceeds a certain amount of pressure, it just backs off, so it will come down again. So little things like that have made it more interesting, but also it's other software to control other parts of the bed and work to make them work much better. And that's what I'll probably say on that point. Okay.